Hi, and welcome to the Amy and Britta Show. I am Britta LaFont from BrittaLaFont.com.
And I'm Amy Young from MessyMiddle.com.
And we are so thankful that you are with us. We have enjoyed this project so much, and we are now finishing up with the fourth week of Advent.
It's amazing.
I can't believe it, right? It's been so much fun, though. And I find that Advent has been so much richer for sharing it with you and for studying about it and really dwelling on the ideas, in the Bible.
I would totally agree that, looking like the idea of waiting no longer annoys me as much. Or like it's pointing me forward to Christmas,
Yes, definitely. Okay, so this week's theme is love. Mm-hmm. So our previous themes were, help me out. So we did waiting, and then we did
prepare
and peace. And then mine were hope and peace. And then the one we did last week was rejoice and joy.
Yeah.
And then this week is love. We're love all around. Love all around. Okay, so
like we're playing tennis.
Exactly. Love. 0-0. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
But, okay, so we are both, we've kind of skipped ahead, but we are both going through books that talk about walking through the Christian year.
Yes.
And so we've really enjoyed that. And I don't have my book with me.
Neither do I.
Okay. We're going to skip to a whole different book today. So we would love for you, if this is the first time you're joining us, go ahead and look back at our previous ones. They're awesome, and you can learn about the books we're reading. So today's book I would like to share is by Lois Tverberg. It's called Walking in the Dust of Rabbi Jesus, How the Jewish Words of Jesus Can Change Your Life. And it talks about how Jesus was a Hebrew, and he had a Hebrew language and a Hebrew mind and a Hebrew way of thinking. And so did the writers of pretty much the entire Bible, except for Luke, who was understood to probably be a Gentile. But anyway, so understanding the Hebrew words from the Old Testament will inform some of the thinking that we read about in the New Testament. And I was sharing with Amy that the idea of love immediately made me think of chesed, and then we both practiced our Jewish pronunciation, chesed.
Chesed.
Yeah, right, chesed. Okay, so chesed is the word for covenantal, steadfast love that God has for us. And whenever we read about God's steadfast mercy in the Old Testament or his covenant-keeping love, we hear about that. That is usually chesed. So if you looked at an interlinear Bible, you would find the word chesed in many places. And I love the idea of chesed because it really goes through the entire Old Testament, and it really is a critical part of understanding who God is knowing that he loves with an everlasting love, and it's a covenant love. That means he does not break his word, and he fulfills his promises.
Yeah.
And so I was telling Amy that the reason I thought about that love was because Christmas is the fulfillment of God's promises, that Jesus came to us and he made good on everything, and he's redeeming everything, and he's doing everything that God said would be accomplished. And then now that he's come to live in us, he continues to do that on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. So here's a great example from this book by Lois Tverberg. She wanted us to understand, because she said, our understanding of English love, not English, not like Pride and Prejudice, but love in the English language and in our culture is more like romantic love. And so she said, Hesed is a bone-weary father who drives through the night to bail his drug-addicted son out of jail. Hesed is a mom who spends day after thankless day spoon-feeding and wiping up after a disabled child. Hesed is an unsung pastor's wife whose long-suffering, tearful prayers keep her exhausted husband from falling apart at the seams. Hesed is a love that can be counted on decade after decade. It's not about the thrill of romance, but the security of faithfulness. And so when we think about Christmas, I want us to remember that it is evidence of God's faithfulness and his love for us. And so that's kind of a great way, I think, to round out the year, and then to begin a new year, right?
Yeah. Well, and I love that last phrase, the security of faithfulness, that we're secure in it. We're not secure in our circumstances or secure, because some of those circumstances are not going to change. And yet still knowing, though, that God's love can speak into that God's love can be present, And it's interesting you mentioned the mindset, because I just finished reading the book, Amber Haynes' book, Wild in the Hollow. And it's a spiritual memoir. And the last few chapters are super powerful. And one was where she was talking about how, for us as North Americans, and I think I could say this is true for most of the West, we come from such a consumer society. Yeah. We don't understand how much it's influenced our thinking. So I love that you tied into how a Hebrew thinks. And you know, because I think like a Christian. But the truth is, I think like a Western Christian who has been steeped in consumerism. And to a certain extent, it's not to say like our consumeristic culture is terrible. We all come from a culture, and it's okay to be a part of a culture. But I think it's when we don't, it's the unexamined culture that can kind of be the problem. And just to see how much consumerism even has infiltrated into Christmas. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why you and I and others who have joined in with us on this journey really wanted to lean into Advent to begin to change some of our thinking. It's not just about Christmas. It's not just about the consumerism, but we're waiting. And what are we waiting for? We're waiting for Jesus, because he is our hope, our peace, our joy. And as you wrote in the post on Monday, our love, that love is the foundation of it all. And so we're about done waiting.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the waiting is about done, but the hope is going to be fulfilled. The peace is going to be fulfilled. The joy is going to be fulfilled. And the love is going to be fulfilled in Jesus and in us celebrating and remembering his birth.
Yeah.
And not in all the gifts. All of that is fun. And the being together is wonderful.
And it's a great way, really, when you think about as we begin our new year, you know, although Advent is the beginning of the Christian year, so it ends just when our new year begins. And it's a great way to start the new year, is with our minds set on the fact that God keeps his promises to us.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
great.
That's so fun. So we'll probably make a few more videos throughout the Christmas and Epiphany, and then a few during ordinary times. But just to keep us oriented, and again, kind of reprogramming our thinking and our souls to have it try to not totally beat by the drumbeat of our culture, but by the drumbeat of God. So this has been so fun, Britta, and so fun for everybody else. So Merry Christmas, and see you during the Christmas season, now that Advent's about done. So
that's right. And Christmas is the 12 days, right? So that's a little teaser for everybody.
There you go, a little teaser. We're good at that.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.